What is going on, everybody? My name is Nick, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of the Good Schmidt Podcast. Today I got a special episode for you guys. So, I did a little something called the Boston Marathon back on April 15th of this year, and I'm going to be going through my journey of the race and just talking about my overall experience being in Boston a little bit. So, first to start off, I went to the start line. I did the course tour beforehand, so there's a picture of me by the Welcome to Hopkinton, It All Starts Here Boston Marathon sign. That was really cool. Had somebody take my picture there. So that was really neat. That was on Sunday, April 14th, the day prior to the race. So on race day, I started in Wave 1, Corral 5 at 10:10 a.m. on Monday, April 15th. I wore the Hoka Mach X's. It was 57 degrees and sunny on the start line. And again, just going back to the course tour, I saw a cool sign, Hopkinton to Boston sign, celebrating 100 years. So this year was the 100th year of the Boston Marathon starting in Hopkinton. It used to start in Ashland, but they moved it back in 1924 to Hopkinton to cover the full marathon distance. Because the Boston Marathon used to not quite be 26 miles, it was 24-ish, so yeah, now it's 26.2, or has been for 100 years. And there's a picture of me on the start line prior to race day, again, during the course tour the day before. I had a chance to get a picture there because a couple from Canada was there, and a lady took my picture on the start line, so that was pretty cool. Thanks to that lady from Canada for taking my picture on the start line. So gun went off, started, and yeah, there's just complete euphoria and excitement. All downhill for like the first 4 to 6 miles, and just got into a good rhythm that first half of the race. It was really awesome. There's just so many people around and pretty exciting. I passed former teammates along the way, including Sam Yerich, Andrew Hirsch, and Scotty. Scotty Walter wasn't my former teammate, but he went to the same school as I did, and he also helped my parents and myself out at the airport. Really helpful guy, cool guy too. And unfortunately, he did not have a great marathon day. I can't speak to that because it's his story to tell, but yeah, shout out to all the whitewater guys I saw during the first half of the race. Yeah, like I said, the first 5K was mostly downhill, and then it kind of flattened out in Framingham around like mile 6 or 7 to mile 8. So that was really the only flat section of the course. That was nice to actually have a flat section, because it felt like I was going downhill the entire race so far, which it pretty much was. Or at that point, I should say. Some more pictures here of me on the course. I think that one of these pictures was later on in the race in Brookline. I don't remember where the one on the left was from, where the one on the left was, or this other one was, but both awesome pictures. And by the way, shout out to Marathon Photo for the photos. I paid $90 in advance to have a professional photographer take these photos. Not the ones prior to race day, just the race day photos. So yeah, that's awesome to have these photos for this video. There was also like a video of me running at various points on the course, like 15K, I believe 20K, and then the finish line. But I don't think the BAA will let me show those clips, so I'm not going to include it in the video. They're just the BAA, or the Boston Athletic Association is very particular on using race footage. They don't want like people filming themselves on the course or using like race footage in YouTube videos, so I'm not going to include those. Hopefully these photos are okay. Some more race photos here. I'm pretty sure these are in Brookline, towards the end of the race, about like mile 23 or 4. There's the 15K mark. This is one of the points that was on the video, where I passed the 15-kilometer mark. This is a really cool part of the course in Natick. Definitely like that part. Speaking of cool parts on the course, my favorite point of the course was at mile 11, the Scream Tunnel. Just a bunch of Wellesley College girls lining the course, waiting for high fives and kisses. I did not give them not kiss any of them because I didn't want to slow down my time too much, but I really wasn't worried about time at this point because it was just awesome to see all these college girls cheering for everybody in the race, myself included, and I tried to high-five as many of them as possible. As you all can see in these photos, yeah, I was high-fiving, and yeah, this again was just complete euphoria. Once-in-a-lifetime experience running through Wellesley College. And then there was the Newton Hills. Those started at mile 16, and it started to really get tough, just based on where they were. That's really what made them tough. They're not super steep. Like, I've run steeper hills in Wisconsin than I did on this course, but just the location of the hills is why it's difficult. And it's just like one after the other. There's four different hills in the town of Newton, which you get by the fire station, and the climax of the Newton Hills is Heartbreak Hill, mile 21. Probably the steepest one too, I would say. I mean, some people say the first one is, but I think the second one was steeper, to be honest, and Heartbreak obviously was a little steeper, and Heartbreak Hill definitely broke my heart at mile 21. I was starting to run on fumes at this point, running out of gas, but I kept on pressing on because I wanted to finish. Well, and because the experience is just so awesome, why would I not finish? And I was still feeling good enough that I would have been able to finish. And also, I knew I had gotten to the top of the Newton Hill, the top of Heartbreak Hill, because there's a sign in Newton that says, it says you've like reached the top of Heartbreak Hill. Newton's heart is with you. There's like a broken heart, and there's also a sign of John Kelly, I think his name is, or whatever the dude's name was that had his heart broken on that hill, where the hill is, the guy who's, I can't speak. There's a statue of the guy who the hill is named after in Newton. So I passed that, and then I saw the Newton's heart is with you sign, so I knew I was at the top of Heartbreak Hill at that point. So that was nice, but there was still quite a bit more to go, and it got tough. Mile 22 to the finish. It was challenging. I was tired, I was fatigued just from using up all that energy throughout the race, using up all my fluids, and I was just starting to run on empty at that point. But like I said, I continued to press on. I saw my parents at mile 23 at Cleveland Circle, not far from my hotel. So that was pretty awesome. Really encouraging to see them out there on the up watching on the course. So Cleveland Circle there's a train there is where the subway train is. So they were standing right outside there. If you guys haven't been to Boston, that's what Cleveland Circle is. It's a train station, and the road runs right along there. That's where the Boston Marathon course goes, and it goes into Brookline. And there's a hill at like mile 25. Yeah, around mile 25. I named it the skate park hill because it goes straight down, flattens out for like a second or two, and then goes straight back up. It is like a skate park ramp, and it's in Brookline around mile 25. That was challenging to me. That was probably, aside from Heartbreak Hill, like the toughest point in the course for me. I thought that was really tough. Well, and just the constant downhills like throughout the course really made this tough on my quads and hammies and calves, and just my whole lower body was just dead, man, at this point. And then there is the classic sit-go sign with about a mile to go. I had an internal sigh of relief after passing that. And also coming down Boylston Street with about 600 meters to go. After I made that left turn on Hereford, went on to Boylston, and it was pretty much smooth sailing from there, to be honest. But I wanted to make sure that I finished. So coming down Boylston Street here, some pictures. There's some dudes behind me right there. Or there's some dudes behind me. There's a guy pointing. There's a guy pointing behind me. And then I'm just striding out, using every last ounce of energy that I have left to get to the finish line. Approaching the finish line here. And then finally I finished with a time of 2 hours, 54 minutes, and 4 seconds. So not my fastest marathon, but it was another sub 3 hour marathon for me. So I've gone sub 3 hours in all 3 of my marathons. I'd say that's pretty impressive. I was happy with that, even though I did not meet my time goal. I will discuss that in a little bit. So I had an absolute blast out on the Boston Marathon course. It was a fun time and a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and yeah, I just felt elation and relief after I crossed that finish line. It felt great. And yeah, it was awesome to be done, but also I had to walk forever to find my parents. Once I found my parents, that was another sigh of relief, an external one. But anyways, yeah, I finished, got some water, got some goodies, got my unicorn medal, and yeah, I was just very happy to be finished. And yeah, it's a big accomplishment to finish the Boston Marathon. I was very glad to do so. Also, just some final thoughts here on race day. It got hotter as the race went on. It started out at 57 and it got up to 70, I believe, by the time I was finishing. So it was pretty warm and sunny with not much shade or clouds, so that made it easier for that my energy expended probably quicker than I would have wanted. But I still think I fueled well. I used GU vanilla bean gels, I had like 4 of them, and I took them throughout the course. I'm not going to get into specifics on how I do that, because you guys, if you're going to marathon, you got to learn for yourself what works for you. And I did take one of the Morton gels too, like later on in the course. I probably should have brought a 5th gel, but I just said that just would have been so much to carry, and maybe I should have like spread out my 2nd and 3rd gels a little bit more. That would have been smart, but I think my fueling was fine, to be honest. I did fine with fueling, and I stopped at pretty much every water and Gatorade station that I could. That helped a ton. So yeah, just the warmer weather and like the fatigue from running for so long and hard, and just going down all those hills and going up the Newton Hills definitely depleted my energy quicker than I would have wanted, and it made the race challenging. There also, people were talking about like that there was a tailwind. I barely noticed it. There was a lack of wind for me. That did not help. I loved passing through all the towns on the way to Boston, especially Framingham, Natick, and Wellesley. Of course, the Scream Tunnel was unforgettable. Natick was really beautiful because there was a lake, and then Framingham was flat. That's why I liked Framingham. And there was good crowds in all the towns. In Ashland as well, and Newton. Yeah, every single town. People came out and supported all the Boston Marathon runners, from the elites to the everyday runners like myself. I mentioned this before, but Heartbreak Hill did break my heart at 21, and after that I just had to gut it out to the finish. Did not meet my time goal of 2:49, but that's okay. I still am proud of my effort on the day, and my Hokamaka X's worked really well. I'm going to use them for my next marathon, so that's pretty awesome. Alright, now I'm just going to put my splits of the race up on the screen if you guys want to see them. These are my splits from Strava. You guys can follow me on Strava to see my training for my next race, which is going to be a half marathon. I'm not going to reveal that here, but yeah, I'm doing a half marathon for my next my next distance race. But I'm going to do another race for fun before that, and then I've got a half marathon coming up. And as far as my next marathon, I'm not going to reveal what that is yet, but it's going to be in 2025, in the fall. So I'll be making another podcast about that, recapping it. Just to wrap up here, my Boston Marathon recap here. Did go to a Red Sox game the night after, or the day after. Yeah, the night after Boston, so on Tuesday the 16th. And got to go to Fenway Park and see the Red Sox lose. I wasn't there for the end of the game because it got late, but so I'd go to extra innings. It's a very exciting game. Lots of hits and a number of home runs. So it was fun. And Fenway Park is absolutely beautiful, and I had the best seats out of any event that I've ever gone to. Shout out to SeatGeek for helping me for having the seats, and that I was able to find them on there. It was really cool. Yeah, this was an amazing experience too, to see a ball game at Fenway Park. And then last but not least, I went to the Boston Marathon Expo a couple of days before the race, so on Saturday, April 13th, and I got to see 3 of the Olympians that will be competing in the marathon in Paris this summer. They included Clayton Young, Connor Mance, the 2 training partners from Provo, Utah, and Dakota Lindworm from Minnesota Distance Elite were there, and then John Anderson was the moderator. So that was really cool to see some U.S. Olympians. I did have to jet early because I had to I was going out to dinner with family, so I didn't get to see the whole conversation. But that was super cool to actually see some Olympians in person, and I stayed for a lot of the other elite conversations as well. Des Linden was there, Helen O'Beary, Caroline Rotich, Evans Chabet, like all the former champions were there, and there's also U.S. pros. And I asked the U.S. pros like what their favorite like professional or college sports team was, and I got some interesting answers. Like Emma Bates, of course, said her team that she's on. I'm blanking on the name of her team. Oh, Team Boss is her favorite team because it's her team. That makes sense. But I got a funny answer from Elkanah Kabet. He said the Denver Broncos. He must be a big Denver Broncos fan. That's pretty cool. I guess, no, I asked, that wasn't the question that I asked. I asked what team would you be on, like professional sports team would you be on, or college team would you be on. And yeah, he said the Denver Broncos. So that was cool. And it was also cool seeing like the current marathon Olympians too at the expo. So that was neat. One last thing, I just want to give a shout out to. I don't need to give a shout out to Clayton Young, but I just want to let you all know that he has an awesome series on his YouTube channel where he's doing a documentary of his Paris Marathon Olympic build. So yeah, definitely go check that out on Clayton Young's YouTube channel. It's really awesome. I commented on one of his videos and he replied back, so that's super cool. But yeah, just the production quality and like the behind the scenes you get to see from Clayton Young's training is really cool. And you see Connor Matz quite a bit too because he's his training partner. So yeah, definitely check that out. Fun series if you're into marathon training. Yeah, go to Clayton Young's YouTube channel. I'll probably leave a link in the description to that. And also my Strava link and my socials are in the description as well. So that about wraps up this Boston Marathon race recap. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Once again, my name is Nick. This has been the Good Schmidt Podcast, and I am signing out.